Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the greatest TV show on earth. At least that's what my kids tell me. Ian the
They
Champ,
pay their
Lauren Who
allowances
Dat
too, right?
Nation, Big Jeff. Football show with no name. We're minus a couple of players with us this evening. Maybe some of them are going to jump on here later. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about in football, so we don't even have to.
We don't have to.
Yeah, so we don't have to. We don't have to delay. We'll just go right into it. Ian, let's just go right into it and go to the playoffs.
Let's jump into the playoffs. Here we go. I think the most appropriate thing about the time slots and how the teams have been situated for this first round of a wild card weekend is that they put the Eagles on Monday Night Football in a primetime slot to watch them get embarrassed in front of the entire nation, and it's not going to be pretty. Six playoff games this weekend, 5 really good ones, and the Eagles and Bucks.
It's more stinkers than that.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just, I don't love the Steelers Bills game.
I like the Steelers. There's Clint. There you go. I like the Steelers. I like Mason Rudolph. I like what they're doing. The Bills' defense is not that great. I'm not saying the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers are going to win. Losing T.J. Watt hurts a lot.
Mason
Buffalo,
Rudolph.
Yeah. I mean, I like what Mason Rudolph is doing. I'm fascinated by this 17 years of Mike Tomlin never being under 500. And listen, it is what it is. The man's at a Hampton VA. I spent some time down there. Same area where Allen Iverson came from. Alonzo Mourning. It's a real Michael Vick. It's a real hotbed. I respect.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, do you want to go game by game and just give thoughts on?
Yeah, let's just go game. Yeah. Let's just go game by game. Let's start with the first game of the weekend, Saturday afternoon.
I'm excited for this
Browns at Texans. I think
I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm taking Texans. I'm taking Texans.
I'm gonna let Ian go, and then I'm gonna tell you what I think because I just have the craziest idea.
I am not taking the Texans, and no disrespect to Houston, no disrespect to DeMeco Ryans, who I think is the coach of the year this year. I don't think there's any real competition. No disrespect to CJ Stroud. I think the Browns are just the better team right now. I think the Texans are a very good offensive team. Being at Energy Stadium brings that energy. It's going to be a good game. I think the Browns have the best defense.
Yeah.
In the NFL right now. I do think Joe Flacco is kind of an aberration. He's the Nick Foles of 2023. He's doing what Nick Foles did in 2017, for Philadelphia. And it's a great story, but I think the Browns and the Ravens go to the AFC Championship game. I love Houston. I love Cleveland more.
That's kind of how I feel about it too, but a little bit because I'm not a Ravens fan, obviously, but Baltimore is my favorite city. I live here, so after talking to fans this week about it, I love CJ Stroud. I've loved him all season. He helped me get into the finals. I love Nico. I love the whole team. However, I can't think of something better than Joe Flacco being able to step into Ravens Stadium and get his standing ovation by Baltimore because that is – I'm getting emotional even thinking about it. Like, that man is revered here, and I think that would be really, really cool to have him be able to walk in that stadium and get his due.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Joe lives in Delaware.
Yeah,
and I mean it's where he went to college, the Division I AA. I remember I was watching the news back in late November, and there was a story that somebody took a picture of Joe Flacco on an airplane. And people were almost like kidding. Joe Flacco's on his way to Cleveland. He's going to be I'm like, what are you talking about? 2 days later, there he is.
There he is.
So funny. The interviews I've listened to him, like his preseason interview with the Browns, where he's like, my kids are just watching it. They say you suck, Dad. Like, just he's hilarious.
So let me jump in and play the Texas card since Clint isn't here to defend his boys here. I think I sent this text out in our group text last night about how the Texans were just getting absolutely no pub at all to be a playoff team. They also have upcoming 8 draft picks and about $75 million in cap space.
Jesus.
Coming
that's
for
for
next year.
That's next year.
This game right here is, I think, is more important. Whether they win or lose is just like kind of like you take your kids and dip their feet in the pool so they understand what the playoffs are going to be about.
A lot
the
more
Texans are on the track to be very scary, and I think that it starts this week.
Oh yeah,
I think the Flacco train ends.
Yeah,
here this week because the Cleveland and Texans already played once this year. It was a close game, and Stroud didn't play.
It was earlier in the season, so
yeah,
I sort of agree with you, Jeff. And this is no disrespect to Houston at all. I think Houston is a very scary team right now, just like Buffalo is, because they're getting hot at the right time. It's the opposite. It's the opposite of what's happening here in Philadelphia. Eagles were 10-1. They're only the second team since in the Super Bowl era to start 10-1 and not win 12 games.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. It's an incredible. Houston is hot, so this is no disrespect at Houston at all. It is respect for Cleveland and for their defense. I don't think Joe Flacco is going to throw for 500 yards. He may throw the ball 40 times because they don't really have a great running game. Jerome Ford did well last week. 2 weeks ago, excuse me. I think it's more about Cleveland's defense. Houston is playing with house money right now. Houston was 2-14 last year, had the number 2 pick, had an unbelievable draft. Chose from the coach to the quarterback to the linebackers to everybody. They're playing with house money. They are a year ahead of schedule, very much like Green Bay, that we'll get to a little bit later on.
And the Orioles.
Orioles, you're in the wrong sport.
I know. I heard somebody
is jumping ahead.
I heard some people say about the Orioles.
You're in next September.
That's an NBA All-Star game yet. You already.
I know.
Going out
that was the Olympics too, or something. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I also just think I said this earlier this week. Joe Flacco's won Super Bowls before. He's been in playoff. This is CJ's first playoff game. As cool as it was to walk out on the field and throw that 75-yard touchdown pass, like if you're going to win the game, you got to slow down the pace. And I think that Joe can manage that clock and he's done it. Yeah.
So I think with that being said, I think we're half the group. I think we know the group. Half is on Cleveland. I'll speak up for Clint and say he'll take the Texans. I'll take the Texans. Commish, you break the tie. Browns, Texans. Before we move on to the next game. Who do you got? Who you got this Saturday? Browns, Texans.
You're on mute, buddy.
You're on mute, buddy.
Oh, Cleveland by a touchdown.
All right, so it's 3-2.
3-2.
I had your back, Clint. Remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's rocking for the Texans. That's cute.
Of course he is. He's a Houston guy.
You know that's his boy. That's his boy.
Deep steel blue through and through.
I love CJ Stroud.
Let's jump to the next.
Somebody asked me a good question today. Would Cleveland have the same record or be better if they had Watson and Chubb versus Flacco and Ford?
And Chubb?
Ford was not that bad.
But Chubb is special.
Let me give my answer to it.
But Chubb in PPR is nothing.
Chubb is special, and Stefanski wasn't calling 50 damn pass plays when Deshaun was playing, which I actually think was Deshaun's specialty when he was with the Texans. Let's just drop back and throw the shit 60 times and see what happens. I think that this game actually will look better. What I would thank Stefanski for is them giving him that 230 and thinking what Miami would look like if we would have kept Brian Flores and Deshaun Watson. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, that didn't happen.
So, Kamish, the answer to your question is right, in my opinion. The Browns finished at 11-6, number 5, the first wild card seed. They finished, 2 games behind Baltimore? If Deshaun Watson, forget Nick Chubb. If Nick Chubb is playing regardless.
No, Chubb. No. Put Chubb there. That's what I'm saying.
Chubb, they need both. I think they need both.
Chubb healthy the whole year with Deshaun.
I feel like
they're not 11-4. They're 8-9.
Really?
Yeah, they're 8-9.
I don't know about that.
It's because listen, I'm gonna call it for what it is. I don't have
that defense.
I don't think Deshaun Watson is that good.
Yes,
you just run the ball. You just run it.
But if you got Chubb though, you probably don't throw it 45 times.
Yeah, but isn't that also? But hang on, but that's also what you have in New York. You give the ball to Breece Hall. You give the ball to Saquon. Just run the ball, but you have to have a quarterback. You have to have some.
But if you have a decent quarterback, Deshaun is decent enough to where if you have him play the same way Zach Wilson and DeVito plays, he's above that. So if you run the ball, play defense, they're 12 and 5.
Those numbers.
Yeah, but he did play half a season, and the Browns were not good.
As a moderator, I will stop all three of you. Let me throw you this curveball.
Go for it.
Yeah.
We've talked about Cleveland's defense. We talked about what Cleveland's doing. If the Jets have this Flacco with that defense, where are the Jets right
now? They're a wild card team.
If they would have re-signed Flacco instead of letting him go, if they had Flacco with the defense that they tried out this year, are they in the playoffs?
And throwing 50 times a game.
I don't know if the Jets would have had to throw 50 times a game with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. And I think they maybe would have utilized Dalvin Cook a little bit better.
Then this isn't the Flacco that you're seeing now, because this Flacco is a different Flacco.
The Flacco that played
it's something
in
to
New
be
York
said to get 2 years of rest and sitting at the house.
Yeah,
he's not good. Flacco's got volume. He's not good. So I mean, like let's dispel that he's
about volume and it's about the system. Like the system that New York runs. New York Jets and Cleveland Browns are not running the same system. So Joe Flacco slinging the ball 50 times works in Cleveland. It doesn't work in that New York system. That's not the way they operate.
That I noticed they never really take advantage of in football. I notice every year, because we have a guy like this every year, a guy that's just at the crib who is, for lack of a better word, mentally, I know it. I know every read. I know these defenses. I know this. But they are beat up, and they're looking like trash every year. It's something to be said to you maybe keep in contact with a quarterback from training camp and then bringing this guy in like your relief guy in October, November. Because these guys, once a year, we always get that one guy, and he seems to be like, I'm healthy out here. I'm looking like, why you didn't have me in training camp?
Well,
and I just think the body just needs to rest.
We talked about that last year during the playoffs when the 49ers had all 17 quarterbacks get hurt. The rules changed this year where you were allowed to have your third quarterback technically inactive, but could come into the game if the first two quarterbacks were permanently removed from the game. So having that third quarterback dress each week made somebody like Joe Flacco, as it turned out, not as valuable until you lost Aaron Rodgers and you lost Zach Wilson and you lost Trevor Siemian, or in the case of the Browns, you lost Watson, you lost DTR, you lost PJ Walker. He's really a warm body.
I'm not even talking about bringing him into the building. Like if I'm the offensive coordinator of whatever team, Merle is this 7-time Pro Bowl quarterback who hasn't played in a year. He's at the house. Hey, Merle, think you still throw it around? You think you could give us a game or two if we got to? How about I send you half the playbook? We talk about it on Zoom in a few weeks. You let me know how you're feeling. And I just keep going back and forth with Merle like that guy. Not officially, Merle Holloway is a New York Giant or a Cleveland Brown, but at a moment's notice, I can call him. Because I know Merle's watching the game on Sunday, and when he sees Trevor Siemian go down in the third quarter, he's in the bathroom packing his toothbrush already. Because he knows his next phone call is from me.
I think that does happen.
Do you think that there are quarterbacks out there that have like 5, 6, 7 playbooks just ready to go? Why not just bring those guys in instead of subjecting us to the bum that you have on the bench?
money. You can sign that bum for a whole lot less than you can sign Joe Flacco. Now, Joe Flacco signed a very incentive-laden contract, but I do think at least most general managers, and Clint's comment is perfect. I think most good general managers are doing, Jeff, exactly what you just suggested. They are keeping in contact with somebody who's not currently in the league, checking in every couple of weeks. Hey, you keep it in shape just in case. You know, we would be interested. I do think that happens, and I do think teams, Clint, did reach out to Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan did say publicly, "Nah, I'm good. I'm retired. I'm good." If somebody, Joe Flacco, clearly didn't say, "No, I'm good." He clearly said,
is it the team? Is it a team that calls? Because I feel like we all say everybody that gets the keys to the 49ers is a game manager. If I'm at the house and I'm Cam, I'm whoever, I'm Matt Ryan, and Shanahan and them would call and say, "Hey, I think we need you." Don't you kind of have to go?
No,
I'm not saying come to play for the Panthers and even the Browns at that moment, because that was shaky for Flacco to run out there at that moment. Because like you said, they weren't that great at that moment. They were fluttering around the playoff line. But if Shanahan calls you, I feel like I'm not going to miss a chance to drive this Ferrari.
It's something about the Ferrari, but it also has to be, does Cam still have that fire? Does Matt Ryan still have that fire? Do these veterans that are currently, does Ben Roethlisberger still have that fire? So, it may be that some teams just aren't interested in Ben, and it may be that some teams say, listen, he's a warm body, he's healthy, what's it going to hurt? Let's call him. Lauren, what do you think?
Clint said Drew, but I don't think Drew and Ben have any arm. I don't think Drew and Ben got NFL arm.
I'm just picking out, veteran players that are not currently signed to teams. So I'm just spitballing players. I think the player has to have that fire, has to want to do it. I don't think Ben would want to do it. We know Matt Ryan wouldn't want to do it. We know Drew Brees wouldn't want to do it.
He was practicing every week.
Somebody called Joe and said, "Hey, are you interested?"
When was the last time anybody even seen Big Ben? I haven't seen Big Ben since he left.
So that game that they played the Texans, when the Browns played the Texans, that was the famous Amari Cooper game. The 2 touchdowns over 200 yards. Joe whooped the Texas defense, and that was at home and in Texas. So
I just like the Texans with CJ Stroud this week. We're giving the Texans way too much love. Fuck Clint. We're not going to talk about his team. He's not even here to so we're going to move on to the next game. I'm going to just pick my boys for the next game because we gave Clint way too much love.
All right, so the next game.
Let's go to the next game because this will be quick.
Second game is Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time in temperatures of -3.
Antarctica.
The Dolphins could have won last week and hosted a game in 80-degree weather. Instead, they are going to sub-freezing, colder than the frozen tundra of Arrowhead Stadium. This
might be one of the coldest games ever on record.
I feel like Tyreek's all right there, though.
Jeff, I'm sorry, but your Dolphins have no shot.
Let's start with this. Did I not text you this on Sunday night? Too many injuries. The clock, I was pronouncing us dead at 9:32 p.m. Eastern time. Chiefs, I think because of the score and the weather, I think I'm going to adjust a little bit, though, because I think they're going to be cold, too, if they're going to manhandle us. I'm going to go Chiefs 24, Miami 3.
The Dolphins are going to run the ball 67 times.
With who?
Whoever they have. Whoever they have. Tyreek Hill will do 17 jet sweeps. Kansas City has a very, very good defense. They are an underrated good defense. Miami is the AFC version of the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC. They peaked real early, now they don't have a shot. I would say the Eagles have more of a shot at Tampa Bay than the Dolphins have.
We talk about GMs calling people. Somehow the GM to Miami has Justin Houston's phone number, and he's going to be starting. He's starting at linebacker Sunday in a playoff game.
I think
Justin Houston's about 87 years old.
Yeah, I think 24-3, Jeff, might be a pretty good
call.
I'm going 24-3 just because it's cold as shit out there. So by the second half, Kansas City won't be out there either, but the game will be over by then. So
all right, I'm gonna throw
Kansas City.
Jeff. I think the Chiefs win, but I think they win because there's a temper tantrum to be had and some type of call that goes for the Chiefs that shouldn't have. I bet it's a stupid call. Chiefs win.
I'm not going to disagree that the Chiefs get a lot of calls in the last couple of years, but that's a whole nother shut up. That's a whole nother.
I believe that's going to happen this weekend. It's at home for them.
I'll be honest.
I see it.
Even with the injuries,
I see the tantrum.
Chiefs at Miami, I would take Miami and I would stand on it. And I feel like because of the game we played in Germany, we kind of went toe to toe, and I don't know if Miami thought they could go toe to toe with them, but they did. But in negative 10 degrees,
yeah, no way.
Miami hasn't won a game in which the starting temperature was less than 40 degrees in like 35 years. And I could be wrong on the amount of years, but I guarantee it's not. It's at least 25. It's been at least 25.
Y'all got a bunch of beer truck drivers out there playing.
Yeah, they're basically like Tampa Bay used to be in the cold. We can't win in the cold. We are down to like our
until they
did defensive end.
Until you do, right?
Yeah. Until they did.
Well, if you gave me Chubb and you gave me Xavier Howard and you gave me everybody else, man,
Jalen.
But I mean, we are down to like I don't even know these guys that he brought. Melvin Ingram was in pass coverage 40 yards down the field in a game because there was nobody else to put out.
Nobody else to play.
Now the flip side. Now the flip side to all of that is that -10 is going to be the same temperature that Kansas City Chiefs play in, and the Chiefs do not have a receiving game.
No, they don't.
You do have Xavier Howard. You do have Jalen Ramsey. You don't have Andrew Van Ginkel, which hurts you against Travis Kelce.
Kelsey's toast.
Is Kelce done?
He's not good.
He's done.
Let's talk fantasy for 1 second.
He's in love.
Is Kelce done?
I don't. I've never had Kelce on a team, and I definitely won't going forward.
So
he's never been healthy. He missed the first game of the year. He never recovered.
2024 fantasy, dynasty or redraft. You have Kelce. You are doing what with him? Let's start with redraft.
I wouldn't have drafted.
You're taking Kelce when?
Oh.
Fifth round. 5th, 6th.
4 or 5.
He's no longer TE1 taking the first or second round.
I always
if you own him in Dynasty, are you trading him?
If you can.
You took care of that a year earlier.
What are you gonna get for him?
I'm just asking.
Dynasty, Merrill, in Dynasty, you are always going to find somebody.
Because we're still talking about a dude that in 2023 was still going in the first round of redrafts. And now we have dropped him down to 4th, 5th round for 2024.
He is not tight end 1. Sam Laporta's hurt. I get it. Mark Andrews got hurt.
Andrews is hurt. Who the hell is tight end 1 next year?
Hockenson got hurt. I get it. They are all coming back.
Jawan Johnson.
He is.
Did I read this right? Did Evan Ingram have 114 catches?
He looks really
good. He did.
He had 13 targets.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
That's insane.
That's insane volume. It's insane volume. And they franchised him. So he's getting a contract now.
He can get franchised again, though, can he?
If he stays in Jacksonville. If he stays in Jacksonville.
And that worked for him.
He's getting paid.
New York never threw him the ball like that.
Nope.
Wait on tight end. The lesson of the story is just wait on tight end like we used to.
Wait on tight end.
Yeah,
Shall we go to game 3?
Yeah, this
one. That damn Njoku. Njoku's a beast.
Njoku. Oh, that's a good point.
I would take.
Guess how many years he's been playing? How many years do you think Njoku's been in the league?
Yes. He's only been in the league like 5 years, maybe.
Njoku with Flacco's better.
7 years?
It's a 7.
He's
I can give you that. I mean, he's a Kane. He's a Kane, so I knew, but I knew he wasn't like a 10, 11-year veteran.
7. That's insane. That's crazy.
Hey.
All right, so moving on to Sunday. First game on Sunday. We've already touched on it a little bit. It's a 1:00 game in frigid Buffalo, where you have the Steelers visiting the Buffalo Bills. Merrill, I'm sorry, I still think you are the doppelganger for Mike Tomlin. I know you don't see it, but I see it every single time.
I'm way better looking. No way.
I want you to put on the Steelers hat one of these days.
You black guys look alike.
No, you black guys all look alike.
He's got those black guys look
alike. He does have bug eyes.
You did fit the description. You fit the description. That's better.
Are any of you three legitimately giving the Steelers a chance to be in the game past halftime?
Yes, I am.
Really? No.
I am.
I have put no Steelers in DFS. I might have put Najee because he's cheap, and I want to have a bring.
I only give the Steelers a chance because
Najee's been balling too.
Najee's nice now.
I'm gonna tell you what happened on this show about 6 weeks ago. We had this conversation and we talked about the Steelers, and Merle came in late and he talked about you can't take Najee out your lineup. And I think about the 9 to 10 leagues that I did win. But the other 7 to 8, even though the quarterback played terrible and T. Higgins had 5 points, I went back and looked and I lost like 7 of those games because I sat Najee. I sat him because I didn't believe in the numbers. Like ball don't lie. He gets the volume.
And Jaylen Warren was taking volume. He was.
But it's always. And I only say this because I saw a lot of videos earlier today on social media about how basically everybody in sports media buried Buffalo 6 weeks ago, and now they're the number 2 seed. But they can easily revert to a 3 or 4 turnover game from Josh Allen is not like out of the possibility. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
So I am with you 100% on everything that you just said. If I'm looking at this game, it is hard to find a mention where Steelers beat Buffalo in Buffalo. It's very hard to see one. Is it possible? I think it is possible. You have to have a whole lot of things happen. Jeff hit on one of them. You need to have a multi-turnover game from Josh Allen.
Yeah.
You need Josh Allen for some reason to be playing hero ball. Second, I think the weather has to be a factor. I think if it's snowing or if it's very windy, I think that gives the Steelers a chance because I might take a lot of flack for this, but I've held this position all year. Najee Harris is way above James Cook. James Cook is nice. Don't get me wrong. James Cook is nice. But in a cold weather game where you have to have your running back handle 65, 70% of the snaps, I would rather have Najee than I would James Cook not totally in this game. In this game, I think you need Josh Allen playing reckless hero ball. You need weather, and you need Najee being what he was last week. If you get all 3 of those, I think the Steelers have a chance. I don't think they win this game, but I think.
I wouldn't want to bet my paycheck on it, but I would take if we go on Prize Picks or Underdog or whatever we do this Sunday. I would give a few pennies on the Pittsburgh because the upside. I mean, like Pittsburgh, it's not a weather thing for Pittsburgh. I mean, it's nasty in Pittsburgh, just like it is in Buffalo. You just have to believe. Do you have enough? And is Mason Rudolph on one of those? I'm going to be good for like 5-6 games sprint so that people talk about me all offseason. Is he on one of them tracks? He is an NFL quarterback. At some point, he was going to have to step up. I'm not saying he's going to be good in 2024. Let's just go back to what's Merle's favorite word? Regressing to the mean. He will regress to the mean eventually. But who the fuck? If you started Mason Rudolph last week in fantasy, you probably won.
Last couple of weeks.
You won. You won your leagues. Like
You won.
If you were trying to replace Burrow and shit, if you would have replaced him with Mason Rudolph, you probably won those leagues.
Lauren, what do you think?
I'm sure many more people do.
I think we just move on to the next one. This game we're getting close to the really good game.
Oh, the really good one?
Well, we have
is that Packers Cowboys?
No, not Packers Cowboys.
But Packers Cowboys is the next game. Myral, did you want to touch on Bills Steelers?
On your cousin's game?
2 scores, 14. They're gonna blow them out.
Yeah. Bills in a blowout.
Bills in a blowout.
Okay.
Bills in a blowout.
All right, let's go McCarthy Bowl.
Okay,
we'll go McCarthy Bowl.
4 o'clock on Fox. Dallas gets the number 2 seed because Philly imploded. And they get the Packers, who this was reported a lot on all over the national media, that the Packers are the youngest, by average age playoff team in like 30 years. Like all of their wide receivers, the running backs. Jordan Love is a little bit older because he sat for 4 years, but they're all 21, 22, 23 years old. These kids have no idea what they're doing. They're playing on house money just like Houston is.
And they're going into Dallas.
If there's going to be an upset this week, I think this could be it. I think the Packers could pull the upset because Cowboys always gone a Cowboy.
Oh, there we go.
I can see that. I mean, yeah. I mean, if they have everybody healthy, because a lot of the Packers, the Christian Watson, I don't know if he's going to play. Jaden Reed was banged up. Wicks, I think, is banged up. But if they get everyone, and Musgrave came back, so if they get everybody out there, yeah. If Dak does Dak.
How many times do the Cowboys have the Cowboy before we start believing?
I don't know. Last year,
my
absolute favorite. That play to Zeke Elliott trying to block was the best thing I've ever seen.
But it hurts my soul to say this, but I don't think the Cowboys lose this weekend. I think the Cowboys.
Oh, I don't think they lose either. But I think it's going to be an upset
this weekend. And then we worry about who the Cowboys play the following week. But I don't think the Cowboys lose this weekend. I think they're riding high. I don't know if Green Bay has enough to stop them on offense this week. CD's on another level this year.
CeeDee Lamb was the highest point scorer in the National Football League in fantasy, 402.3 points.
You could have easily had CD and Kyrie.
Yeah.
People want to take CD. Easily could have had him and ran away from the league. So, yeah, I think CD time of year. We don't even have the time to get off into it. Again, things that I hate to say and hear myself say out loud. No idea why Dak's not in the MVP conversation, but that's a whole other conversation. I just put the numbers up against a lot of other numbers. And I'm like, is it because
that Buffalo game just killed him?
Hate the Cowboys and we hate
the Arizona game. And the Arizona game hurt.
But the Arizona game you can explain because it didn't have his offensive line. I don't. But when you go to Buffalo and get throttled,
God, I just feel like
and San Francisco. But his numbers, he's the only quarterback that had a quarterback year that we used to seeing.
I think Lamar
Brock went and got throttled, and we were still talking about Brock and not.
That was one time. It was one throttle game. It wasn't like two.
We kicked Tyreek off the list when he missed
Lamar.
the game.
It's Lamar. Stop.
I hope
it's
so.
Lamar.
Then I called it.
I don't know why. I mean, Lamar is just like
I don't know why Lamar is. It's like Lamar.
He's the best. He's the best player on the best team. So
listen, we talked about this. The definition of MVP doesn't necessarily mean the most valuable player in the league. It's looked at it is the person on a team who is the most valuable player on that team, and if you lose that player, your team is 100% different. If the 49ers lose CMC, maybe they're not the number 1 seed, but they are a solid playoff team.
They're good.
If the Ravens lose Lamar, they're barely a playoff team. And we've seen this the last 2 or 3 years where Lamar got hurt and Snoop came in and he did an admirable job. He did his best, but they are not the same team. That's what MVP is.
How Lamar crept to the front of the bunch when the Baltimore's defense is better than Cleveland's defense. Like across the board in every stat, they're better than Cleveland's defense.
Because the defense
gave all his praise to. Does that not have anything to do with it? No. Because a couple of weeks ago, when we were screaming about Lamar, and like at one point he had like 19 touchdowns.
Why are you hating on Lamar so much, Jeff? Why Lamar hate?
He's trying to be balanced.
I have to balance because last year I went to bat for Lamar to get his money. Now he got his money, but I didn't say that you got that money to be MVP. You got that money because that's what the market said you're supposed to get. I didn't say that he was putting up MVP numbers. I never said he was the best.
I think he's the most valuable player in the league. I don't believe he's
the best player in the league. I believe you take
MVP does not mean best, Jeff. MVP does not mean best.
Most valuable.
It's the most valuable player.
They're the
he's not value versus best. Yeah.
Nobody's ever really defined it, and what's really ruined it is that now the media takes the Vegas odds and they start debating the odds.
And they start
it's just what the bettors are saying, who's going to win, instead of like who's really valuable. So it's a piece of shit award. I don't have any respect for it.
And it's still a quarterback-driven league.
Yeah, it is.
It's still a quarterback with Super Bowl MVPs, league MVPs, offensive players of the years. It is, for right or wrong, it is a quarterback-driven league. We got off the topic of the Cowboys versus the Packers.
And we did.
Is Dak? Should Dak be in the MVP conversation?
He should.
100%, absolutely.
He should.
100%,
absolutely. That was my only statement. Like it was done. Like the race is over and done. Lamar's gonna win. But it was just weird to me that I never really heard a Dak push.
Dak's name was pushed.
There was a push until the Buffalo game.
Big push until you're right. Until the Buffalo game. Dak was a top 2 candidate. He was, and Lamar wasn't there yet. It was CMC or Brock, and it was Dak, and that's really that Buffalo
that's enough
game
Cowboy talk. It's made my liver hurt. It's made my liver hurt.
So you think they're gonna win? You think Did you say the Cowboys gonna win?
No, I'm not taking the Cowboys. Well, I think they're gonna win because I think they're better than Green Bay.
I'll be surprised if they don't win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Dallas will win. But
if they lose, I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked
either. I wouldn't be shocked.
Right. That's why out of all 6 of these games, Green Bay has the greatest opportunity to pull the upset. But that doesn't mean I think that they're going to win. Dallas wins.
Okay. We'll go with that. We'll leave it right there and we'll talk about it when we come back. Let's go to one of my favorite games.
The
Stafford Bowl. I like the Stafford Bowl.
You know what? I'm going to shut up on this one because Lauren's been hyping up this game for like 3 weeks because she saw it.
And that's why I wanted to
I'm going to just fall back.
I am so excited.
Stafford Bowl.
I could go all weekend not see a damn bit of football as long as I am watching this game. Like I am, it's 3-day weekend. I'm planning on some special dinner and like a bottle of, I'm so fucking excited.
So for those of you who aren't following, this is the Rams at Lions. This is the 8:00 Sunday night game. I'm sorry that you get Chris Collinsworth. I'm really sorry about that. But this is the Rams at Lions. They're calling it the Stafford Bowl. And Lauren's all over this one.
The best. It's like they couldn't have had a better drama. Like, because I'm a huge reality TV person, so this to me is about as reality TV as you get. So Matt Stafford leaves
and
Detroit,
Jared Goff.
And but Matt Stafford leaves Detroit and Jared Goff comes to Detroit, and it was kind of like an FU, like get out, like we don't want, Jared Goff just comes in as kind of like a replacement, and they just kind of took him because they had to. So here he is with this, like, he's like the black sheep quarterback, and this man gets them to the playoffs. Not only does he get them to the playoffs, they haven't been to the playoffs since Martin Luther King Jr. was alive. Like, it is insane. Damn. So you got the Detroit.
It's a slight exaggeration.
Recent.
They've been in the playoffs, Lauren. They've been in the playoffs.
Right, they haven't won a playoff game. But that was something I like. That was something I read on like
a sports 90s. Since the 90s. Not 68.
In fact, they beat Dallas in 91 in the divisional playoff and lost to Washington in the NFC Championship.
Right, wherever I read that was incorrect. But they have never won. Detroit's never won a Super Bowl.
That is correct.
It's in Detroit. They've never won. Matt Stafford has not played Detroit since he left Detroit.
Correct.
And Jared Goff has not played the Rams. So you got these guys on. So they've got all this heart. And I was actually like thinking today, because I love Detroit. I love the city of Detroit. I've been there a bunch of times. I'm like, man, if these Detroit fans just go out there and boo the shit out of Stafford, they could get in his head. They could push this game that way. But it's going to be an awesome game. There's going to be a lot of heart and a lot of soul in that game. And it's going to be worth every second.
Rams 27, Lions.
I don't think Dan Campbell loses this game. I don't. I think he's going to pull out some tricks.
That's what Detroit does. Rams.
Yeah.
Rams 27.
It's what Detroit does.
Lions best score 28. I'm putting 27 on the Rams right now.
If Sam Laporta wasn't hurt, I think the Lions had a much better shot. The Rams have a good defense. They don't have a great defense. They have an above average defense, and we like to say that Detroit is this powerhouse offense. They can throw it. You can throw it to Amon-Ra. You have Jared Goff plays phenomenally at home and is terrible on the road.
Yep.
And you have on defense, you have Aiden Hutchinson, CJ Gardner-Johnson is coming back. You've got some quality players. You have that two-headed running game. So you have all this offensive firepower. But if you're going to say that, you also have to recognize Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua and Kyren Williams. LA is matching that, and you're matching it on defense too. You've got Aaron Donald there. You still have that stout.
But you can score on their defense. You can score on their defense, which is what's going to make it awesome.
Here's the difference, and here's why I am rooting. If I had to root, I would root for Detroit. If I was betting, I'm putting my money on LA. LA, the players, for the most part, have the experience. They've been in the playoffs. They've won championships. They know how to play. Detroit is the same as Texas, the Texans. They are a team that's experiencing this for the first time. It's a little bit of borrowed money. Detroit is expected to be there now. The Texans are probably a year or two early. I would not be surprised if the Texans fall off a little bit next year because they rose really very quickly. I think Detroit is a good team. I'm rooting for them. If I'm betting on LA just because of that experience.
I can see. I think Dan Campbell as a coach, as much as I disagree with him starting everyone last weekend the entire game because now he doesn't have Sam Laporta, but I just think he's going to pull out some crazy. He's got to have some tricks up his sleeve and some crazy plays because he does. They do not want Stafford winning that game, and I think it's going to get in his head. I think fans being in Detroit, I think is going to get in his head. I think he's going to have one of those games where he starts throwing interceptions and he just can't mentally get it back together. I mean, that's his city. That's going to be hard to go in there. I'm very excited for this game. I think it's going to be a good game.
Be entertaining for sure.
It'll be an entertaining game. And it's national TV. It's Sunday night. It's primetime. They put it there for a reason.
Yeah. Which game is on Peacock? I heard something about one of them's on Peacock.
The Dolphins and Chiefs is only on Peacock.
But I mean, I'm addicted to football. So
I think LA.
That's not the question I have.
You'll piss a bunch of old people off. They're gonna be like, "What the hell?"
I have Peacock because they show football on football.
Yeah, I have Peacock.
It is what it is. I mean,
I think the Rams.
My dad has it because I have it. But if I didn't have it and told him what it was, he would be like, Where the hell the game at, boy?
You would get it. And
where the hell the game at, boy? That wasn't too stereotypical. Okay.
Listen, I drove 100 miles to get my mama into her Disney Plus account.
I think
you would have gone.
Wait, you can get it through Disney Plus?
No, I was just saying I have done that, so I know Merle. I know his father.
They're forcing old people to learn that shit.
Listen, if you have Xfinity, it comes with Xfinity. So if you're not somebody who's like streaming and Roku and all this weird shit, I have Xfinity. It's easy for me. Peacock comes with it, and I have the Amazon Prime because I have a friend who has Amazon Prime, and I just steal her fucking password and whatever. I'm good.
Yeah.
I think the Rams and the Lions is most likely the highest scoring, is most likely the most entertaining game of the weekend.
Slated to be the highest scoring, yeah.
I think the least entertaining game is going to be Eagles at Bucks.
I don't know. I think I'd rather watch that one than
the
Steelers Bills. The Steelers Bills, I'm not looking.
I don't want to watch Browns and Texans. I'm not watching that.
I am so interested in that game.
Me too. It's that game.
I'm so interested in that game.
Have I wanted to watch a Baker Mayfield game?
I do kind of want to see Baker in the playoffs.
I'm pretty sure I have never sat down and watched an entire Baker Mayfield game. Unless whatever team he played for played the Dolphins.
I was actually thinking
it's failing me, but I can't think of it.
I was thinking
he was in Cleveland. I would watch his games.
I would. I might have watched that Cleveland-Pittsburgh game where they won in the playoffs. I might have seen that, but
I fucked with Baker back when he was with Cleveland.
So Baker is hurt right now. He's got some kind of a rib thing going on. He's not 100%. And actually, and this is the honest to God truth. I was sitting at home. I was flipping back and forth between Eagles. I was on red zones, looking back and forth at Eagles Giants, and I'm watching Dallas and Washington. And I'm almost thinking I would much rather the Eagles lose this game and the Cowboys take the NFC East, because if the Eagles win, they're the NFC East champs. They get the 2, or they would be the 3 seed, and they would have to play the Rams. And there you have no chance. If you lose, you're the 5 seed, and you go to Tampa Bay, a lot warmer. And Tampa Bay only beat Carolina 9-0. It's not like
that was
they
terrible.
were juggernaut. Terrible game. But then I sat back and I thought about it, and I said, this is the same Eagles team that just got dismantled by the Giants. Does it really matter that Tampa only scored 9 against Carolina? Tampa still has Chris Godwin, and still has Mike Evans, and still has Cade Otton, and still has Rachaad White. And the Eagles are still running James Bradbury out there, and we have 0 linebackers. I don't think it matters. I think the Bucs
the Bucs want it a lot more. I think the Bucs want it.
The Bucs are the only NFC playoff team that the Eagles could beat. I think this is the draw that they wanted. I'm hoping in my subconscious heart of hearts that the Eagles lost last week's game almost like a tank, so that they would not have to play the Rams. And if they win this game next week, they most likely go to San Francisco. And I think that they can beat San Francisco more than they can beat Dallas. I don't think they can. I think they lose either of those. But we
should save this clip, because I think Philly's about to fall off the cliff.
Philly is falling off.
I think Philly's about to fall off the cliff. Even next year, I think they're about to fall off.
Nick Sirianni, no, because they still have great players. What they have right now is a coach. They have a coach who has lost his locker room, an offensive and a defensive coordinator who have no business being an offensive or a defensive coordinator. Agreed. I think at minimum, Brian Johnson, Matt Patricia, and Sean Desai are all out of work 3 days after the Eagles lose their next game. And I think it's 50-50 at best that Sirianni keeps his job. I think the Eagles and Jalen Hurts is hurt. Jalen Hurts has been hurt all season. There's no question. Jalen Hurts has regressed. He is not reading defenses that well right now. But the team is a mess. I don't think they're a boulder that's going to fall off the cliff. I think the players are still there. They need a new scheme. They need new lifeblood. They need new energy. Sirianni has lost that team. I think the Eagles lost to the Giants intentionally to get this matchup versus the Buccaneers, because I think that's really their best chance.
Dallas does not want to see them come in that building.
They were a lot more excited. It was like new to them, and this season is kind of like they were expected to win. Mm-hmm. And it seems like
I just feel like Philly is about to fall off. I don't 10-1. I just don't. I get it. I just don't.
Listen,
I don't have that
Philadelphia, Jeff.
Like Philly's going to be back in it next year. Like
Jeff,
we had
not
a
about that.
I don't think it's not about that. I think it's a trend.
No, the Eagles. Brian Johnson has no business being an offensive coordinator. The Eagles have, and I swear to God, I've watched this. I've seen people talk about it. I've looked at it myself. The Eagles have 4 plays in their playbook. They have an RPO where DeAndre Swift runs into a defensive lineman. They have an RPO where Jalen Hurts keeps the ball and runs backwards 4 yards and then falls to the ground. They have a bubble screen to Julio Jones, or they have a 35-yard fly pattern. Those are the only plays Brian Johnson calls. Last year, losing Shane Steichen hurt more than
and that's what sucks when you're Super Bowl you lose your coaches. Yeah,
that's it.
Can we take a fantasy timeout for 1 second since I'm driving? Let's take a fantasy timeout.
Yes, timeout.
And as you're watching your teams play, and you have Jalen Hurts, or you have take it back. You have Jalen Hurts, you have Devontae Smith, you have AJ Brown, and you're watching your fantasy championship, and you see Julio Jones score a touchdown. What is it that you're saying? What are you thinking?
That helps.
2 weeks ago, I was thinking, God damn it.
Did you go Adam Wright?
I thought about it in DFS. I was like, nobody would put Julio Jones in.
If you have Hurts, it helps you. It helps you if you have Hurts. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm saying, not Hurts. You have Devontae and you have AJ Brown. And you get that alert that Julio Jones just scored his second.
That's the risk you take with the wide receiver.
That's fantasy.
That is what it is.
Fantasy is gambling, bro.
But I'm asking as a fantasy guy, what is it that you're looking at your phone and you're thinking? Do you say, this motherfucker?
How many people you think played Julio?
Or fuck Jared Hurts? What do you say?
Nothing.
It's the same time when the Dolphins, you just think Mostert's going to get it or Hill, and they throw it to that Smythe guy, and you're like, what the fuck?
Jeff Wilson.
I've won more on that.
Or whoever that guy was in the Bengals last weekend, I've never heard his name before. Touchdowns, something or other. I was like,
or what's the dude from Kansas City, Gray, the tight end Gray? He
I know Gray, yeah.
This is what it is.
Ian, you know what this tells me? That football is not year round for Lauren and Merle, like us degenerates.
Oh no!
Because I have a file in my phone on Noah Gray. I won like $200 last week on underdog on Chase Brown because I knew he would get the carry.
You should have played Julio then.
Jeff, sometimes
you should have played
I have no week 18.
You should have played Julio on the DFS lineup.
I have no week 18 fantasy, and I don't play DFS. You guys play DFS.
Okay, I want to change here. I want to change topic real quick here because I have something that's been on my mind, and I know we're a little bit short on time. We could go into head coach changes. People have been fired. What's going to happen? Is Belichick going to fire? I don't care. This is the question that I want to talk about. Where does Derrick Henry play next year? Is he in Tennessee? Because he was outside the stadium signing autographs and taking pictures for like an hour and a half after the game. Like it was sayonara. Can he possibly go anywhere else?
He'd be a Cowboy. He'd be great.
Bro, you stole my shit. You stole my shit.
He would be great in Dallas.
He'd be amazing as a Cowboy.
He'd be amazing as a Cowboy. They don't have to keep Pollard. He was on the franchise tag. Yeah. I like Dale better than I like goddamn Tony Pollard at $10 million a year.
I'll tell you who goes to Dallas. I'll tell you who goes to Dallas.
At $2 or $3 million.
No.
Or Buffalo or Baltimore.
Buffalo. I'll tell you who's going to Dallas. I'm calling it right now. Write it down. Dallas Cowboys starting running back week 1, Austin Eckler.
Oh.
Ooh.
Austin Eckler.
That's
free agent. He's a free agent.
Did you pull that from somewhere? I have not heard anything like that.
I think he's toast. I don't know.
Nope,
I like that actually.
That's a deep cut.
I don't know about that one. I don't like it.
If you pull that pick off right now,
I like Derrick Henry there more.
Needs to give you some recognition. Oh.
I don't like Eckler. They don't need Eckler. They need Henry. They need a bruiser they can put in to go.
Yeah.
Bring back Zeke.
No, not Zeke. Somebody like Zeke.
Najee would be nice in Dallas.
Yeah, they need like just another. Give me the ball. I'm gonna score.
I'm saying
Jamal Williams like that.
Speaking of Jamal Williams,
so much fucking sense. They're stupid. It's stupid that it makes so much motherfucking sense.
Henry
to be in a Cowboy.
Henry, yeah.
Because one of the things that I didn't know where we were going to go on the show. I had these stats, and I wanted to give you guys these numbers.
Jacksonville, if you get Jacksonville,
and I kind of wrote them all.
Oh,
and I was going to give.
ETN there.
ETN's awesome.
I was looking at this shit today, and it had Derrick Henry's high school stats on it, and I was like, "This shit gotta be fake. It's gotta be fucking fake." Like, he was a 4-year starter in high school. The least amount of yards he had every year he started. His lowest amount was 2,400.
Yeah,
Jesus,
crazy.
Yeah. Who's tackling him? Who's tackling him in high school?
In his senior year, he had a 3,000-yard, 55 touchdown rush.
That sounds right. I would never want to tackle that man. He's been the size that he is now since he was 15. So I mean, there's no way. No way.
How the hell do you rush for 3,200 yards in high school football?
Nobody can tackle you.
That's crazy.
And you got breakaway speed.
A team that's going to fall off of the charts, like off the boulder, like Jeff was talking about Philly, is going to be the LA Chargers. I would not be surprised if Keenan Allen just retires at this point.
Oh no, you don't think Jim Harbaugh's going there?
If Harbaugh goes there, it's a different story. I'm not.
Yeah, no, they need Harbaugh or something.
He's going.
They have the talent.
Oh, he's going.
He's leaving. He's leaving Michigan. I'm not convinced he comes to the NFL right away.
I don't think Harbaugh leaves. I don't think Harbaugh leaves.
Goes to LA. If Harbaugh winds up at the Chargers, Keenan stays, and I think Eckler stays also.
Yeah,
because I like Eckler
the
in
Chargers.
offense.
This is why
the reason for Harbaugh to stay in college. Why would he stay?
Their salary cap
He can go
the
to
Chargers
Alabama.
is so fucked up. The only way that you're going to be able to operate next year is if you drop Bosa or Keenan Allen or some combination of both
they're
of
in
them.
salary cap.
That's it. They're in salary cap hell. That's why I don't think Harbaugh's in play for San Diego. Now I just see Harbaugh having a cut. The Harbaugh that I have watched on TV dealing with NCAA feels like the type of dude that would take the challenge on and stepping in New England. Because he'd be like, I'm as good as this guy that just left here. The Harbaugh family as a whole, coaching-wise, feels like we're good enough to step into the New England spot. The dude who stepped into the New England spot, he has no draft picks, well, other than second. He has no talent, no real salary cap depth, no talent on outside receiver, a hurt running back, a suspect line, a pretty good to decent.
I don't know. I saw something about
based on who's calling the plays.
Patriots.
Defense is good based on who's calling the plays. Yeah. But if you're Harbaugh, do you leave King of the Castle to go to New England and follow the GOAT?
What if you had Caleb Williams?
Because the NCAA has it out for him in a way that's probably not fun.
So
I don't think the NCAA can get it. If they were going to get him, they wouldn't let him win the title.
So,
they got him. Trades.
He's just going to keep on the
Bears for that first round pick. The Bears get the second round pick. Bears take Marvin Harrison Jr. Patriots take Caleb Williams.
You know, that was Lauren. That's really interesting because that was my follow up question to the Derrick Henry thing, and it's much. And I have just the same question, just to a much different level. Very much like King Henry, who is the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears Week 1?
I think Justin Fields stays there.
Justin Fields.
If they're smart and they grab Marvin Harrison Jr., they've got him, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet. Like, that would be an awesome team.
I'll say this about the Bears. Once you didn't fire Eberflus, you had to keep Justin Fields. You should trade that number 1 pick.
Again.
But I say this with a caveat. You can't trade that number 1 pick outside of the realm where you don't end up with Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, or minimum Brock Bowers from Georgia. If you end up with not one of those three,
I like Ollie
Gordon. One of those 3, you fucked up that pick. You may as well have took the dude that you want to take at 1. Just take a receiver at 1. Who is a receiver gone 1 since Keyshawn? I don't know. I think Keyshawn since Keyshawn. So
Keyshawn.
But
I wouldn't
take even and I feel like you would be all right taking Marvin Harrison Jr.
But here's the question. Here's my question to you then,
Jeff. But I do feel like Odunze is the best receiver.
And actually, so if the Patriots did do that, and they took are they? Because I was gotten into this argument with my uncle the other day. He thinks the Patriots. The answer to the Patriots is not a quarterback. He's like, you have to have talent. I was like, they don't have anything anywhere. They have nothing. So I don't know that maybe they get a great quarterback, but what else do they do? I mean, they shouldn't have cheated all those times and lost all those draft picks. But like,
let's look at it from a fantasy perspective. You could play Hunter Hensley. You could have played Gesicki. People did play Demario Douglas. And it wasn't that long ago that Devontae was playable.
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson was definitely a second-round pick pre-injury. It's just that the dude pulling the trigger is fucking terrible. If you replace, and I'm just giving a random, let's say instead of Bailey Zappi or Mac Jones, you would have had Russell. Or you would have had Flacco.
Yeah.
Or you would have, now go Cam. I won't go that deep in the trenches with Cam. But if you had Sam Howell, I mean, there's a number of clues that New England doesn't lose 13, 14 fucking games.
No, Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones are fucking garbage. Both of them.
I think that kind of reiterates Bill's GOAT case as because New England's defense was ridiculously good. Like they kept them in so many games where they only scored like 10 to 15 points. They were still
he's the best coach. I don't know why people are acting like he can't.
It's not an argument. He's the best coach of all time.
Yeah. Bill, yeah. So I think Bill does come back. I think he relinquishes his GM responsibilities and he's just a coach. I think if there's going to be a trade for the number 1 pick, I think Lauren's right. I think the most logical trade out is to 3 with New England, move down to 3, Take Caleb, take Drake, take whoever you think is the best option at quarterback. I think Caleb is the most pro ready right now. I think Drake is maybe the better long-term prospect. I think Washington.
I don't like Drake, man. I think he's a loser.
I think Washington takes
Marvin
Harrison.
Like Drake, man.
Yeah, Washington takes.
No, he's a loser. Every big game he falls on his face. He's not a winning quarterback.
I feel like
every important game we had this year,
and you're right.
Terrible.
And you're right, but it wasn't Clint. It was another friend of mine that does some football shit. He and I had the same conversation this week, and we're not scared to toe the line on anything on this little podcast here. As a GM, you cannot sit in your office, minus injury or the fact that you heard the dude had a habit or some shit like that. As a white GM in the NFL, you're not going to sit at pick number 2 and not trade Drake May if he's on the clock. I promise you, you're not. Unless you have a notice that said this dude snorts heroin, he beats women, he has a gambling problem. You can, as a black dude, as a GM.
No, I don't know about that. Wait a minute, because you can take Penix or even he fucking money up.
I want you to think about your favorite.
I don't know if it's a white GM as much as it's the New England Patriots. That's
it's the New England Patriots. It's the Patriots. It's not the white. It's the Patriots.
They are white.
You can go with that, but most owners white. So you have to think about
all the GMs are white.
There are certain programs like Merle's Giants.
There's not a lot of black people in Massachusetts to begin with.
Giants have never.
They're just not there.
It's a bunch of they just live in the same place.
Harlem. We're talking about all the minorities in New York. They've never drafted a black quarterback.
Jeff.
Who the Giants?
Sometimes
let's start what we do.
Go about with the program. If you think I can only give you facts. Merle is this fact.
It is, but I mean, it's nuanced though. It's not that simple. It's because we've had success.
It is nuanced.
And we've had good quarterbacks.
It is because it's all about, just like you talk about when we're in.
You got a quarterback that played for like 14 years in a row.
Things that work well, people don't like change. If you're a GM, you have worked 10, 15 years to get this job. There is a 6'4". He can be Drake May. He can be from whatever school you want to. If there's a dude that looks like Caleb Williams, and there's a dude that looks like Drake May, and you have to bet your family's life on it as a GM.
They're taking.
You're gonna take the dude that looks like Drake May.
Not a Caleb.
If you're in New England, if you can do that if you're in Baltimore, you can do that if you're in Miami. You
I don't know about that.
Do that in New England.
He's a good-looking dude.
I can't co-sign that one. I can't co-sign that.
Are you serious?
Why
haven't the Giants drafted a quarterback? How many quarterbacks have been great that the Giants have not?
Hold on, Robert Kraft likes Asian people.
We had a quarterback for 14 years.
What about Daniel Jones or Mitch Trubisky told you they were going to be better than Mahomes, Watson, any other Lamar Jackson, any of the dudes you saw? When we watched Lamar and he played UNCC and he scored them 10 touchdowns, tell me what you saw.
We didn't draft Jones over anybody black.
You drafted Daniel Jones?
Over who?
You drafted
a black person.
Jones. I'm just saying, if you're a quarterback.
You can't do that. You got to say who's the black person that they overlooked.
Because the problem with GM and badass teams, you get pigeonholed like I feel like Chicago's going to do. Chicago in the end is going to fall to the pressure. And they're going to say, we got to take a quarterback because we got this pick. When it's so much better for your team to have 6, 7 other draft picks, fill in all these other spots, because you see from the play, you can get away with a Brock Purdy, a Joe Flacco, a dude that didn't go top 5, top 6, where half your salary cap is wrecked for the last 10 years. You can take a guy if you fill out all the other positions. But when it comes to the fan base and fans say, we got to have that guy there. Because I haven't heard nobody screaming the Caleb Williams goddamn flag in a minute. Because Caleb
he's kind of a sticky guy too. But if you watch both of those men play, you would be irresponsible to draft Drake May over Caleb Williams. I mean, it's just.
I just don't think so.
There's no excuse.
I feel like if Drake comes out last year, he goes 1.
Oh my God, Jeff, stop. Listen, we have all seen
last year.
I liked Drake May the first time I saw him when he was named Mitch Trubisky.
Not that
it's
bad.
The same. It's the same. It's
the same dude.
It's the same dude.
And I'm not saying Drake May's great. I'm just saying as a GM,
he's a little bit better than Sam Howell.
I'm not saying he's not, but we know what GMs are going to do.
I don't know about that one.
We know what they're going to do. I don't know why every year when it's our favorite team or whoever.
I don't believe that, Jeff. Yeah.
They're not.
It's not 1986, man. No.
You don't believe that?
I don't believe that at all.
I think it's the Patriots. It's not.
It's the Patriots. I can see that with the Patriots. The Patriots are like.
It's all about.
I'm a Celtics fan, right? I'm a Celtics fan, and so we love it when there's a white good player. Like when we got Gordon Hayward, we were very happy
since birth.
Because, and Robert,
that's how it is in Boston.
What are you talking about? The man that got a massage parlor in Florida.
Are happier when there's a great white hope. We know that the people who are actually buying the tickets
in Boston,
certain cities, and it's not just
there are no black people in
there are several other cities.
Utah.
I would say let's go there.
Utah. They go with the white guy when they can, even as long as he's white. Like Utah, Minnesota, a lot of times.
I would name several other cities.
Boston,
I would name
everywhere else. Minnesota, they love AP.
I would say that if Dallas had Josh Allen throwing 18 interceptions, they would love him and would not talk shit just the way people don't talk shit about him on a national level. Yet they crucified Dak.
Picked up another black.
Actually, for once, did what he said. I'm not going to throw 10 interceptions this year. Didn't do it. He doesn't get mentioned at all.
Josh here and talent.
Again, I named one thing. I was very specific.
Jeff,
Dak Prescott, who we just said was an MVP candidate. Josh Allen is not an MVP candidate this year. Yet
he's
Josh
better than
Allen
Dak.
He just gets like you just said.
He's 10 times better than Dak.
How can he be better than him if he's not an MVP candidate this year?
He's 10 times better than Dak.
We're talking about right now. I'm not talking about body of work, lifetime.
Yeah, right now he's 10 times better than Dak.
Right now he's better than him. I know what you're saying.
10 times.
But would you vote for Josh Allen MVP before Dak?
No, he had a poor season, but he's not better than Dak. You're taking one isolated year now.
Because that's what the conversation was. We're not talking about
not a fair question. Everybody is Cowboys.
Everybody who now think, okay, this is how you have to think about this. 2023, you were in your fantasy draft. You weren't thinking about fucking taking Puka Nacua with your very first pick. Yet, had you done that, you probably would have won your goddamn league. All I'm saying is let's give it to what it is right now.
Stop playing the results though with that.
Lifetime achievement awards. Josh Allen has given us enough body of work over the last 4 years to say this dude is
10 times better than
turnover prone. He is turnover prone.
I don't care.
So
he's 10 times better than that.
He gets the Brett Favre pass where if I throw 20 interceptions, but I throw 40 touchdowns, they love it.
He can do shit Dak will never be able to do.
Does not get that
ever.
Pass.
And he's not as good.
And I hate
he's not as good a player, Jeff.
He's not even close. He's not even close.
Listen,
who had the better record?
It doesn't matter. It's a team game. It's a team game, Jeff.
Prescott does not get Josh Allen
you
love
do not
Josh
get your
yearly.
You don't get your yearly bonus at work in 2023 off of what you did in 2021.
I don't care.
Why the fuck are you not talking about this year?
I don't care.
Jeff,
are you telling me Josh Allen was a better quarterback this year than Dak?
Jeff.
Yes, talent-wise, yes.
My bonus this year if you don't do your job.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
You watched all these games, and you are willing to say on record this man had a better year than him.
I mean,
I think he's a better player. I think he had a better year.
No.
Better player.
You are a better non-profiter than me. Whatever it is that Lauren does in construction, she is better at than me.
Yeah.
But this year, on the football field, you are telling me Josh Allen played better than Dak Prescott.
Well, let's look up their
I didn't say that. I say he's a better player.
Please look at him. No. Because that's the conversation I'm having. You guys are moving.
No, I can agree with you. He had a better season. I can agree.
So I'm saying in 2023, why the fuck is Dak getting the hate and Josh still gets the
because he plays for the Cowboys.
He's not as good as Josh. He's not as good.
He plays for the Cowboys. Everybody hates the Cowboys. Like that is the team that people hate.
What does hating a team have to do with
you tell me, because you're the one of the people that hates on him. Like when Tom Brady was playing, people hated Tom Brady.
And you know how I hate to say anything good about the Cowboys. There's no reason why we have this blind love to
the Cowboys beat a bunch of tomato cans. Who did they beat?
There are so many other quarterbacks that we excoriate every fucking Monday about the performance they had, and we let Josh Allen slide. Why?
No, we didn't.
No, we don't. Nobody has Josh Allen slide.
He got.
I'll pull every YouTube video we've done in 2023, and I can't find one time that any of you guys ever killed Josh Allen.
Jeff, who's a good team that Dak beat this year? How many?
Oh my God! But we just said Tyreek was an MVP candidate, so he gets the same vote. They didn't beat anybody. They didn't beat anybody.
But he was so far above all of. He made that team go. Like your offense didn't even work without him, so he's valuable.
So this is I'm stick to one number. One numbers only.
So MVP.
So are you telling me Lamar Jackson's numbers are better than Dak Prescott?
No, it's about his value. That's why he's the most valuable player.
Not the best player. So the Cowboys are the second seed in the NFC East if Cooper Rush played quarterback all year?
They did pretty well with Cooper Rush, actually. Maybe. They've got a good offensive weapons. Maybe. No, they did well with Cooper Rush.
Maybe.
I can't believe I'm sticking up with Dak Prescott.
I also have Trey Lance.
I can't believe you are either. With fucking Josh Allen and this blind love for him being this great
has a better
guy.
season? Jeff, who has a better season? The Dallas Cowboys with Cooper Rush or the Buffalo Bills with Kyle Allen? Who has the better season?
What does that have to do with Dak and Josh Allen?
It means his
They're
team
the
propped him up,
for Dak and Josh Allen.
Yeah, Cooper Rush.
Dak and Josh Allen. Who has the better season?
You know what I would say in response to
Josh
that?
is the 2 seed.
Hold on. I will say in response to that, other than the Dolphins, who you just said can't beat a good team, who the fuck was Kyle Allen going to have to play in the fucking AFC East then? I mean, the shit comes out to the same. If you're saying that the Eagles, so what you're telling me then is the Eagles ain't shit, the Commanders ain't shit. All we got to worry about our division. Don't worry about losing all those other motherfuckers. In division games only, if we're gonna play Kyle Allen, we're gonna play Cooper Rush.
Smashed in the playoffs.
All we got to do is win your division to get in, though.
And you'll get smashed in the playoffs. You'll be a 3 seed smashed in the playoffs.
The question you asked me was who was gonna make the playoffs. That's the question you asked. Do not sit there and tell me that they have an easier road. So what you're telling me is that
I did not say who would make the playoffs.
I said the Eagles are shit.
Better season. You got to answer the question, buddy.
So that's the better. So are you really believe that going against the AFC East, Kyle Allen wouldn't have had a better season than fucking Cooper Rush?
You didn't answer my. You didn't.
No, that is answering your question. That's 100% your question.
I think
you said who would have the better season. How the fuck would he have a better season than him? If Philly's like that, if Philly is that good, how the fuck would he have a better season than him? So Philly's trash.
Jeff,
I just think Josh is just way better. I mean, he's just a way better player.
Jeff, I love you, man.
The disrespect for Dak Prescott is unreal.
It's not hate. He's just not as good as Josh Allen. He's good.
It's not hating Dak. It's that Josh is a better player.
I wish Josh Allen by far. I wish Josh Allen played for one of y'all's teams.
Jeff,
so after he has interception number 22 for the year, you'll be telling me how good he is.
Jeff, Dak Prescott is an excellent football player. Josh Allen is better. I'm sorry, he's
this year.
But he's better.
Not this year. Not this year he was not. Not this year he was not. This year he was not. And you cannot have these future goddamn conversations, expectations.
But Jeff, you will admit that he's more talented than Dak Prescott, right?
Well, I would tell you this. I would say.
Oh God, no, you're not. Oh, come on.
What?
Come on.
No, I take that. No. The thing about being more talented
in a vacuum, who would you take?
Again, can I say it? It's being more talented is irrelevant if you're not using those gifts.
Jeff,
I would say that you and I know.
Who are you taking first, Josh or Dak?
Let me say it. I would say that as a sports fan, as a sports fan,
he's taking Josh.
All of us know players who are better.
Disingenuous right now.
I can't even say it. You want me to say it?
Let me say it.
Are you sitting here telling me as a sports fan?
Myself.
Again,
is anybody still watching?
Let me say
no.
Yeah.
Because I can't get the answer out. You asked me questions that you won't let me answer. Are you telling me as a sports fan, you don't know players who are physically and mentally better than players that you see on TV? As a sports fan, I'm talking about everybody you've ever seen in college, high school, on a fucking park in a corner. Are you telling me you've never seen somebody who is more talented? Because the question you just asked me was more Josh Allen, more talented than damn Dak Prescott. I think that's irrelevant. It's all about the system that you're in. It's all about where you play, what you have to do at that fucking moment. If you're in the AFC, you play quarterback, you have a much harder road to get to the ultimate goal than quarterbacks that are playing in the NFC. I think if you disagree with that, you're being dis-fucking-genuous.
This dude can throw 20 yards out.
What are you talking about? Do you think Buffalo or Dallas would be
Josh
any
Allen
better
is really good and he plays in the AFC.
Okay, so Buffalo just won the second place in the AFC. Dallas just won second in the NFC. What's their record if you swap
you're saying that Dallas had the easier road to get there is what you're saying.
What's their record if you swap quarterbacks?
Jeff, let me ask you this question.
You don't know.
Jeff.
So it's no way to be like, this dude is more talented than him.
Answer this question,
Oh my God,
Jeff.
have you seen Josh Allen throw the ball? Oh my God.
I also seen the dude throw 25 interceptions in a year. Fumble the ball 10 times.
I seen Dak do it too.
I seen Dak do it too.
Yeah. But Dak, again, it goes back to my point.
They're both in the same spot. They're both the second seed in their conference. I mean, like, what are you talking about?
Dak gets killed. Josh doesn't. I don't understand why.
Dak loses a bunch of games that he's not supposed to lose.
And Josh doesn't?
No. He loses to Mahomes and Burrow.
6 weeks ago, every fucking dude that gets a paycheck to do this said Buffalo was buried.
They were wrong.
Every fucking person who gets a check to do this says Buffalo
every single one of them
was
wrong.
And they said the same thing when Dak lost to Buffalo.
So what's the difference?
I've heard people hate on Lamar all season too about, well, they should have done better. And I mean,
those people don't matter. Who cares?
Lamar doesn't sound right and doesn't look right. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, but they're like, even fans.
He gets hurt a lot. I don't like Lamar.
The game they lost this year, they got scrutinized.
Jeff. If you are drafting in a Superflex right now for 2024, who are you taking first? Josh Allen or Dak?
Dak.
You are out of your mind, and you're a liar.
Like round 8 and
we talking fantasy football. Fantasy football.
You're so full of shit.
A dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Again,
I'm calling bullshit.
Again,
I'm calling bullshit too.
Yeah, because he drafted Dak in like the 8th round, and he was pissed about it.
I don't live in 2019. We're talking about drafting, so we're talking about drafting in 2024. You want a dude that's throwing the CD Lamb, or you want a dude that might not be throwing the goddamn Stephon Diggs? Now,
I want a dude that's going to run over people and throw the ball.
Why would you think? Why do you think he's going to just continue to do that?
He's going to throw for 40 and run for 20. That's why he's an MVP candidate.
Next year on the show league, I want to see you draft Dak in the second.
I do too, because I
can't wait for it.
Yeah,
I want to see you draft Dak 16 overall.
So you don't have to draft.
You must remember this. So in the second round, we can be like, don't forget Dak time.
Dak's available.
Dak's available. Round 2.
Dak alert.
Dak tripping.
Dak in round 2 instead of wide receiver.
Oh my God!
So you're telling me that you're better with the Buffalo skill position because quarterback.
I don't like either one of them on my team.
It's about the player.
50 minutes ago, I just listened to you tell me James Cook wasn't shit.
Then why would you?
If you're telling me, I don't believe in my head.
No, then why wouldn't you take Tua first because he has Tyreek?
I don't believe Dalton Kincaid is that much better than fucking Jake Ferguson. I don't believe
that Shakir
are that much different from fucking Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis scores fantasy points every other week for the last 2 goddamn years.
If Josh Allen played for the 49ers, they would be 17-0.
The question he answers about fantasy and where they are. And
I just want to say Chris Olave is better than all of those wide receivers
this year. You all sat there and said,
some crazy ass balls.
I don't know if I'm gonna play Stephon Diggs. I don't know if I'm gonna play Diggs. Yeah. But you didn't have no goddamn question about playing Dak and CD. We talking about going into next year right now as things stand this year. You think overall in fantasy points combined that Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen are going to have a better year than Dak and CD? Because that's the question you're really asking.
I think Josh is going to have a better season.
That's not what I asked.
I don't care about fantasy. I just know Josh is a better player.
Josh is a better player.
But he asked a fantasy question. He asked a fantasy question.
I'm answering your question by telling a story about Stephon Diggs.
Because you guys are ridiculous. I don't understand why we pick and choose what QB.
We're not picking and choosing. We're saying Josh Allen is a better player.
QB has shitty-ass interceptions and fumble numbers. We pick and choose. I ain't calling us media, but motherfuckers who just talking about football, pick and choose to decide who do we label as shitty and who we have labeled as great.
Yeah. Nobody's saying he's shitty. You're conflating arguments. Yeah, we're not saying that.
Why aren't you, Jeff? Then why aren't you taking Tua very high overall because he's throwing it to Tyreek?
Again, because I watch every single game. I don't watch ESPN highlights. I have watched every game this man has ever played. And
but it's Tyreek.
Is fucking terrible. And I'm not disagreeing with you. That's why I said Tyreek should be MVP. You're making my case for me. This dude is fucking terrible. He should not be playing quarterback in the NFL. If it wasn't for Mike McDaniel, he would have got exposed already. If Flores was still coaching Miami and we were still doing what we were doing 2 years ago, Mike White would be playing quarterback by now. Damn, Tua would have got benched because we don't have Tyreek. And if you think fucking Tua can make Cedric Wilson and Jalen Waddle look fucking incredible, then you're fucking more dumb than I am as a Miami fan. It's not going to happen. That dude is not good.
They interviewed the Bills. They interviewed the Bills and asked the players if there was one guy on the team that you would not want to date your sister, who would it be? Every one of them said Stephon Diggs, except for Stephon Diggs.
He's a dog. I just forgot that he
was
a
like,
dog.
really? They said that about me?
He's a child.
Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs have been beef since the playoff game the year before, and it didn't bite them. And they managed because they played the shitty ass Dolphins with no defensive players available. It's gonna bite them in the ass next year if they run this back with these two petulant roommates hating each other. That's gonna bite them in the ass.
I think they had a lover's quarrel, man. I think they did something. Yeah.
All right, Jeff, we got it.
I think
that's why I wouldn't take That's why I wouldn't take Josh Allen because I don't believe Stephon Diggs is a Buffalo Bill next year.
Probably.
Unless you're telling me they're about to pull off some crazy ass shit and end up with some other number one wide receiver, Buffalo goes back to the middle of the pack next year, and that's why I would not take Josh.
But Josh is still a better player.
Still a better player.
All right. So if you want to be a better player on a non-playoff team, that's great. If that's what the conversation is, then great.
That's how it is now. They're both in the playoffs.
I thought about winning. We talk about this year. You asked
they're both 2 seed. They're both 2 seed.
You asked about next year. You asked me
next year. They'll be both in the playoffs.
You asked me my opinion of next year.
I defend your right to believe that Dak is better.
Stephon Diggs is not there. Dallas is back in the playoffs next year.
I defend your right to believe that.
Second round.
Do you believe 3 teams from the AFC East can make the playoffs next year? With the AFC as a whole, with Joe Burrow coming back and healthy quarterbacks everywhere, you think the East can make 3 playoff teams?
The East or the West?
Is it possible?
The East? No. AFC East. Because now we're bringing back Tua with a healthy Tyreek. You're bringing back Aaron Rodgers with Garrett Wilson, and you're talking about possibly Josh Allen with no Stephon Diggs.
It's possible now that 7 teams make the playoffs. It's possible.
Sure.
That's discounting a whole lot of QBs and a whole lot of teams. That means Cleveland and Cincinnati both can't make it.
AFC West did it with
that means the Houston team we just pumped up probably won't make it.
They probably won't.
Wow. Y'all really believe in Josh Allen, don't you?
I just believe he's a better player than Dak. I mean, I'll go to my grave. I mean, he's a better player.
I believe I hate the Cowboys, but I believe
he can do some shit that Dak will never do. Dak can't dream of the stuff that Josh can do.
He's gonna start liking the Cowboys now. All of a sudden,
maybe
that's like sad thing. Back. Watch, he's gonna be like, man.
Stop thinking you're fucking Brett Favre.
Ugh.
You're losing more games than you're winning.
Oh, he definitely has some Brett Favre in him, but Brett Favre is way better than Dak will ever be.
You're losing more games than you're winning with this shit.
That's not factually true.
They both won the same number of championships. So
what that part.
He's over 500. He's
but
way
they
over
do
500.
not get the same amount of hate. They do not get the same amount of hate.
He plays for the Cowboys. So it's complicated.
When you play for the Cowboys, you're always going to get hate.
Yeah, that's
when you have that star, you are either
one
half of the country loves the Cowboys and the other half hates it. So it's going to be people in Wichita, Kansas don't give a flying fuck about the Buffalo Bills, but they will either love or hate.
They hate the Cowboys. Yeah, that's
I don't fuck. I don't fuck with Dak because he rides for the cops. I can't fuck with him, so I don't like how he's down.
We're talking about football.
But I still think Josh is way better. But I'm just saying I don't fuck with. I hate Dak just because he plays for the Cowboys.
Like I don't fuck with any of the Bosas because they're super heavy MAGA. But I'm not going to sit here and say that there's 10 people in football better than any of these two.
I'm not a Josh Allen fan, but I know he's better than Dak.
I'm not saying he's better. I'm just saying this year he had a better year.
He did. He's here and Dak's there.
Can I have this year?
He had a better year.
He had a better year.
Right? I'm tired.
I've never said he's better.
That's my whole argument. That's all I wanted was a win.
I agree with you there.
Chat works.
He had a better year.
Yeah, I'm gonna isolate this. I'm gonna edit out the just the Dak argument. This is funny.
I'm telling you, I've been watching Dak for a while.
No, I'm gonna isolate it.
I hate
Cowboys fans. Just the Dak.
And
put it on the Cowboys page. I'm gonna isolate just this and find the Cowboys page. We're gonna get like 100 views, 100,000 views.
Oh my God!
Cowboys fans are not really wrong about Dak when it comes to the national view. There are so many quarterbacks that are worse than Dak, but somehow Dak ends up at the top of the list every year. And that's Cowboy fans' problem because they think they're supposed to win every game, but you're not going to win every game. The dude can only do what he can do. He is limited by the talent that he has.
They beat a bunch of scrubs. They
at
beat
a certain
10 scrubs
point,
here.
I just got to give you credit because, I mean, we didn't beat anybody, and if somehow we managed to score in the fourth quarter and we beat Buffalo, doesn't make us no great team. This means we have a home playoff game next week. Then we still get blown out by somebody. Doesn't mean we're good. That's what I say. Ball don't lie.
You're average.
Just because we're at home and you got a playoff game doesn't mean that you're great. Sometimes you just get lucky, and that's what happened. Had we won last week, we would just been lucky to have a playoff game, and then I had to worry about.
Remember the last
Jeff, Dak only has a home playoff game because the Eagles sucked.
Well, they got two. Well, that's not Dak's fault that the Eagles suck. Dak should only worry about the fact that the Cowboys suck.
I got to go to bed.
He can't worry about the Eagles suck. He can't worry about the Jaguars. He can't worry about the Jaguars selling playoff tickets back in December. He can't worry about that shit.
You
Jeff,
gone, Lauren?
Are we gonna wrap up, or you?
That's all right. Let's wrap it up.
Sure, wrap it up. Lauren, you wrap us up.
You wrap us up,
guys. I'm just gonna make this quick. Good night, everybody. Enjoy the playoffs. We're sorry for that long ass tangent. We'll talk about the Saints drama next week.
Well, we
hope you watched until the 8:32 moment, and then after that, we just got the rest.
I'm still getting texts about it, so I know people are watching about it.
They should be watching this shit.
They should be
watch
watching
it again. Forward it to your Cowboy friends.
Yeah.
Everyone who watched this, forward this to your Cowboy friends.
You should.
Please.
It's the only time you'll ever say that.
The matter, like isolate this and send us the link, and I'll post this shit everywhere.
I have stuck up for that.
I will do it. People hate
Free
me anyway. I don't care.
It's fun. No, this is a good conversation. I think it's fun. I mean, I think there'll be some pockets where people will really be into it.
Free Dak.
It'll be the missing. Yeah. Okay.
Josh Allen's a
better for the viewers out there.
Like finding a Traveling Wilbury CD,
Yeah.
I have one.
That's a reference. Wow.
I have one.
Do you have a Traveling Wilbury CD?
In the crib. Oh, I wasn't always goddamn listening to trap.
Oh wow.
We grew up. You forget we grew up in the same place. That's
okay.
We act like we didn't grow up in the same place.
Hard to find.
80s MTV. That's what we do.
Oh.
Well, we can no longer say "fuck y'all team," so we'll just say "fuck the Cowboys."
Fuck your team. I'll still say "fuck your team."
Yeah.
Fuck the Chiefs. How about that?
Peace out.
Go Birds. Go Brownies.